I've been studying the Enneagram for 9 years, and it has changed my life. When I first learned about the Enneagram, I was in school becoming a therapist, and I felt like there were certain ways that I needed to keep progressing in my personal growth. I felt like I needed to become more attentive to the needs of others and track and read their minds better and check in more. I'm a type 8, and type 8 is often called the boss, the challenger, the master, and I had a perception that it would mean that I would become more of a bitch, more bossy, more domineering, and that people wouldn't like me, and I cared about that. And so I was trying to develop other traits, which is great. It's great to round yourself out, but what the Enneagram taught me was that there were parts of my personality that were natural to me, that were coded within my ego structure, like the cells of my body, how I interpret the world, everything. And by not exploring and enriching myself with that experience, I was doing the world and myself a disservice because I was trying to be something I'm not fully. In the Enneagram, we learn that you can contain components of all the types, but if you don't really master your own and follow that path of personal development, you're missing something. The Enneagram also taught me about things that really didn't belong to me, that I had taken on in my personality, things that really belonged to my parents, to my culture, to my peer group. So I used to think that it was a bad thing to be controlling and I really shouldn't be that way, but my Enneagram type, that's the thing I'll be dealing with my whole life, and it's not wrong. It's just something to work with. Furthermore, I found out that ways of being more perfectionist really were layers that belonged to my family of origin. And when I learned my Enneagram type and figured out their Enneagram types, I was able to separate, this actually isn't even mine. This is something I picked up because my family taught me to be this way, not the way that really serves me to be. That's another reason why I love the Enneagram, because it helps me get clear on what belongs to me and what doesn't belong to me. It helps me understand that how people are different than me, and I know that might sound kind of simplistic, but I had heard that logically, of course, and sometimes through hearing people talk about things, I would say, oh, that seems like that's different than me. But learning the Enneagram, I could look at people in my life and see that they just value completely different things for different reasons than I do. Like I could look at somebody who values research and time alone and why they do and how it feeds them in a way that really does not feed me, and neither of us are wrong. It's really right for each of us to follow what's truly nourishing, truly mana for our types. So this is why I'm so passionate about teaching it to my clients when it comes up, because it just helps us all understand each other better, to know that one person really is in pain when they're in a space that is ugly, and another person doesn't notice it at all because of their different Enneagram types. To notice that some people love when there's electricity in the air and sparks flying between people, even if it's like arguments, and other people that's hell. That's the worst place in the world. To understand the Enneagram types of these people is to really get that is not something they have to get over. That's endemic to their nature. It's like being able to recognize the difference between dogs and cats. You can't expect a dog to be a cat. And there's challenges and there's gifts of both kinds of animals. There's gifts and challenges in all the Enneagram types, but you can't go around expecting them to be each other. It really helps me develop huge amounts of compassion and surrender expectations that aren't serving me, and also connect better with people. When I know their Enneagram type, I know more about what they want. I know about what really serves them, and I know how to find a way to bridge that gap. There are many books written about the Enneagram, and some of them are really high quality, and I do recommend them. But to really get a sense of what it is, it's important to get some kind of experience with an Enneagram teacher or mentor. I would love to teach you more about the Enneagram, and especially through my video series, Tapping for Your Type, which you can find at tappingforyourtype.com.